Good morning and happy Monday. So, you are back from a long and hopefully blissful and wonderful weekend. We are going to start today's episode off with a couple of corrections. So, in the last video that we played for you or that we made for you, one of the things we talked about was the value of gold and a number of the other rocks, rubies, sapphires, so on. Well, among that list, I said and made a huge no-no. I listed a pearl as a rock, but that is an absolute no-no. A pearl is actually an allergic reaction that takes place in an oyster when it gets sand in its mouth. It's the craziest thing. And so it's actually a pearl is an actual calcification of a oyster's body, protecting it from something that doesn't belong there. And so as a result of that, it comes out with the precious stone of pearl. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we could find a grain of sand somewhere inside of a pearl. I wouldn't advise you tearing pearls apart to go find that, but that's what a pearl is. It is an allergic reaction that takes place inside the mouth of an oyster. So, my apologies. I will make sure that we limit the number of times there are mistakes. As you know, Monday or Thursday, you were left with homework assignment. And that homework assignment was to pull out a sheet of paper and write down what you consider valuable and how you define value. These were things that were very important. So let's start there, shall we? When we look at ourselves, I want you to understand the number one reason we don't see ourselves as valuable. It's because of tapes that we play in our head. For some of us, it's that we have disappointed ourselves so much by saying that we were going to do something and never getting it done. For others, it's people telling them that they're not good enough, they can't be this, they can't be that, they can't be the other. There's any number of reasons why you don't find value in yourself. There are some of you who will say, I always find value in myself. But here's the deal. If you found value in yourself, you really wouldn't be watching this video. So there's clearly something there that you're not dealing with. So what do you consider valuable? If your list contained any of the following: money, clothes, shoes, anything external of your interior content, then you're focused on the wrong thing. If everything you wrote on that list was about what's inside of you, congratulations. You're well on your way to being ready to start developing your own mindset, your own ideas, and learning how to get to the next level that you want to reach and you want to go to. For the rest of you, there's much work that needs to be done. So today, let's really get into the thick of this. So I want to warn you that some of this content is going to be a little hard for you, some of you, to stomach. And so you may need to take a few breaks, but here's what we're going to do. As individuals, we take for granted the littlest thing. For example, our fingerprints. We've talked about those. They are your artist mark, and I'm going to drive that point home every time we talk, because your fingerprints are the evidence and proof that you are a one-of-a-kind original. That means that there is nobody else on this world just like you. And so what do? We devalue that. We go, oh, that's not true. Other people are better than me. Oh, that's not true. They do this and they do that and they do this. No, they don't do anything. They do what is designed for their life to do. And some of them don't even do that. Some of them, it's just an illusion. But you have gotten to a place where you are so caught up in the illusion that you're not willing to look at the truth and to accept the truth. You see, to understand how to develop value in yourself, you have to first begin with the truth. There's two types of foundations you can build on, potentially. One is sand, which is a horrible foundation, and the other one is rock, and that's concrete, which is a phenomenal foundation. You build on a lie, You build on sand. And when trouble comes and hard times come, guess what? Your foundation crumbles and you don't believe in yourself. And that's why you can't make it from one side to the other of a negative situation. That's why you run into people who are always running their mouth and talking trash about people because they have a foundation that is built on sand. When you build on sand, that means you stand for nothing. And nothing around you will have value, will stand, or will hold any weight or water. And you've got to understand that your number one self-sabotaging step is that you love the lie more than the truth. So what exactly does that mean, I love the lie? Okay, let me explain that. I have a young man that I work with, and I got a call from him the other day. And he goes, or he says, I've been having some struggles in this situation. Here's what's going on. At the end of the day, I realize that I'm just not good enough to be able to do what I want to do. Okay, because somebody had something to say? Like, why are you not good enough? Was my question. And he said, I'm just not good. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So we got to deal with this. First off, this young man, he's 23. He's 23. You want to know what it means when you're 23? It means that you only have 5 years worth of experience. Because really your experience doesn't start until you turn 18. That doesn't discount everything you learned prior to the age of 18. What that does is it takes into account that what you learned under 18 may or may not be necessary for you to grow. So let me explain that one other way. What we experience under 18 comes with us into adulthood. But we get to determine after the age of 18 how we utilize it. Do I want to keep these comments that people would make about me not being enough? No, throw them away. Do I want to keep these comments about how I won an award? Yes, I want to keep that because that gives me fuel to keep moving on. These are the things that young man didn't consider. He didn't think about all the successes that he's had. He didn't keep a list of all of those successes. And so one of the things that really hurts our value, especially when we're in our 20s, is that we don't keep a list of all the things we do right. And the reality is that it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 60s, 100s. Always keep a list of the things that you do and you do well. And some of them will come from the praise of others, and some of them will be things that you hold dear to you. And you're very happy with the results of whatever it was that you did. Those are the things that help you build value. You see, negativity is designed to destroy. And negativity is only ever based in a very small part on truth. Very small part. So negativity will take one thing and blow it into something enormous. So let me give you an example. The same young man I was just sharing with you. He comes from a situation, a battling family. And he has a family member who told him he was too fat and it was another family member's fault. Okay? Is it possible that it could be another family's fault? I'm sure. I'm sure there's some way that is possible. But is that the majority? No, it's not. You see, remember, the young man is in his 20s. So if he chooses to overeat, does that mean he was trained to eat that way? Or does it mean that he has made choices that the other family member wouldn't have had him choose? You see, we all get to make choices. And when we're not willing to take responsibility for those choices, we begin to decrease our value and how we see ourselves. Because victims cannot stand. Victims are sand. And some of you will get very upset at that. A victim is not they're the ones who've been. No, oftentimes, a victim is a victim by their choice. You can have challenging things happen to you and still choose to persevere. But more times than not, when you're a victim, you have chosen to be that victim. And that's the thing that's the hardest. So, when the question comes up, do I have value? If I'm choosing to be a victim because I don't have what it takes, then the reality is that I'm the one who's choosing this path. And then I am devaluing myself based on that choice. And that's how value, internal value, actually works. We have to understand that we always have value, but we have to choose to experience and demonstrate that value. And we don't always do that based on the decisions that we make. So, the last thing before we close, I want you to understand is this. There is nothing about you that isn't dynamic. It might need dusting off, it might need polishing, it might need to be developed. But you have what it takes. Each and every one of you within the sound of my voice has what it takes to be a great success, to rebuild your family, to fix what's broken, to start anew. Each one of you has the ability to do that. The question is, will you make the choice to do it? See you on Thursday. Twana out.